Good morning. Welcome to the land of Kakiak. My name is Laurel. So I'm in the schoolroom. I spent a good amount of time making a McGuffey Readers-based elementary language arts program off of original McGuffey Readers. If you haven't seen my revised version of this, I will link it for you down below. But I had so many people ask me if I had an originals version, which I didn't have made up, that I just spent some time doing that. It's something I'd kind of wanted to do anyways. I came up with some new things. It's not going to be exactly like the revised edition plan. Let me show you what we have. All right, so first of all, here's the plan. I'm going to link it for you in the description box. Look at this, you guys. There's a praying mantis outside my window. The boys came in here and saw that and were pretty stoked about it. So we're going to go over this plan together. And we've got stuff that you'll start using level 1s, like 1 through 6. That's what I have plans for, and that's about 1st grade through 6th grade. And then here's some more extra books and things I think were helpful to have. So it looks like a lot. I'm going to try to be quick, and then if you have anything that you want me to delve into deeper, just leave me a comment and I can make a separate video about it. Okay, let's take a look at the McGuffey plan that I have for you, okay? So this is just the top sheet. I think it's helpful to have it in a your planner binder or like just on a clipboard, especially if you're going to be using it daily. I did make a black and white version of this document, so that if you look at the listing for this, I didn't have room to put pictures in of the black and white, but there's a black and white version in there as well as the color. Okay, so what comes with the plan is some notes from me, a materials and resources list. So of course the McGuffey Readers Original Editions, and these are all links. Things that are underlined are links in this document. Phonics Made plain flashcards, the reading comprehension bookmark. Of course, these are your readers. I don't have a plan for every single one of them. Like I would use the pictorial primer and I would just skip the regular primer. These are the Phonics Made plain flashcards here. I've showed them in other videos. And I didn't put this on the list because I don't think it's 100% necessary, but this is meant to go with this, the ABCs and Ola tricks, and I'll put a link for it in the description box. And the cards come with this wall chart too, but they're helpful. It's helpful to have. The reading comprehension bookmarks, that is the set here. This will help you for years and years with different, not just the McGuffey Readers, like you could use them with any book you're reading with the kids. There's spelling bookmarks, so there's reading comprehension, there's editing bookmarks, there is grammar, check-in stuff. So I just use these constantly. I'm glad they're printable because we're always losing them, so, or the kids are. I'm constantly reprinting them. Okay, and the phonics fill-in chart, that comes in here. I'll show it to you when we get down there. Okay, writing, copy work notebook, a 1/2-inch rule. This link right here is to a spiral bound. It's like, I think there comes with 2. And they're spiral bound and it has like the place for drawing in it also. And I really liked it because I love spiral bound. It just makes it easier. But I didn't have one around the house. I had one of these I just picked up from Walmart, which is basically the same thing. It's just not spiral bound. See? Copywork, notebook, and then a quarter rule as well. So I put a link to a quarter rule one. 2 colored pens or pencils, or my favorite is this. This is a link to a set of these pens. It has like black, red, green, and blue, and I use these pens like constantly. They're so convenient. Sentence scaffolds. That is this resource here. So we see I have it. I use it for the kids, so I don't have to keep reprinting it, but you can print it out. I've showed this one in previous videos as well. Practicing grammar through writing, and it just scaffolds them into writing their own sentence and gives them sentencing, editing, checklist, and teaches them different grammar components. Stories and grammar. Oh, and I put approximately the grade because I thought these would fit into. So stories and grammar, so either like 3rd or 4th grade-ish. And it looks like this. I did bind this one because I'm gonna And it's practicing grammar concepts through guided writing exercises. And I have talked about this before, so again, like, I won't bore you with it. So I would put that one with the second. And then weekly paragraphs about grade 4 or 5. You may want to do this, used with writing fabulous sentences and paragraphs, which is in here. So again, I have talked about this one before, but it is going to guide them through writing paragraphs. All right, we've got instructions, paragraph writing checklist. You know, kind of how to get, and it just guides them through one, so they end up doing 1 paragraph a week. Okay. And that one would probably be possibly late, or it could be, you could use it in place of stories and grammar, or like after it or before it, whatever. So then the second reader companion notebook and the third reader companion notebook. So with the second reader, I actually made a companion notebook to go along with the reader itself, reading and writing exercises. And I'm not saying you have to do like all of these resources, but you have choices, right? I'll talk a little bit more about that when I get to each one. And then here's the third reader companion notebook I made to use along with the third reader, which will probably start in about 6th grade. Okay. What do we say under grammar? A highlighter set. So something we actually use a ton of is our highlighter set. Grammar flashcards and exercises for copywork. This is a resource that comes together. Here it is, the grammar exercises. There's also some reading comprehension questions with it. And again, I've talked about this resource a lot. You've seen me use it if you've watched my videos on the revised and how I like to make little packets with it. There's 3 different levels. There's some links to some other good resources in it. So yeah, you've got choices. It's good to have choices, right? Well, the grammar comprehension bookmarks, I already showed you those. The grammar fill and chart, okay, that comes in this document. I'll show it to you when we get to it. First illustrated grammar and punctuation, and then illustrated grammar and punctuation. These 2 Usborne books. These are grammar books, and they're nice to use as references as you are introducing or reviewing grammar topics, right? I've also listed gentle grammars level 1 through 4. I don't have one out right now, but I've showed you those before. Here, this is the hard copy if you want to buy them off Amazon. I want to say they're about $10 a book, but she also offers them for free as PDF. So this is a link to where you can get them for. Also down here is a McGuffey's spelling book. Could be found in Project Gutenberg, but up here is the hard version, which I think I want to say I got this book for like $4 or $6 or something, and worth it. Just buy it used on Amazon. McGuffey spelling workbooks. That's what we use based off of that McGuffey spelling book. I don't care for the original spelling book, so I didn't even bother trying to plan for it, since you can get the other one for free or cheap. McGuffey spelling book level 1, right? And I've got 6 levels of those. So I just let them go at their own pace with those. I've made some spelling videos with those, and then spelling and affix flashcards. So I have a set of all like spelling vocabulary, right? And the spelling rules for our spelling program is flashcards. And then I've made a set of affixes, just like common ones. I just put them into prefixes and suffixes. But you know, those will be helpful for really any grammar, or not, sorry, really for any vocabulary we're going to see. And spelling is helpful for both spelling and vocabulary, so we do use those. Oh, I forgot to show you Harvey's grammar. I kind of skipped over the elementary Harvey's grammar because I think you could use either gentle grammar or that one, or the elementary Harvey's, but this would be the next one. So since my program, it gets into the 3rd reader, then probably the next thing, if you've done just a grammar, is they say start it in 7th or 8th grade, which you would still be in the you'd still be in the third reader. So just whenever you get done with gentle grammar or whatever elementary grammar, this would be the next step. And it does have a key, an answer key, which is nice. And a very, very affordable, and this will last you like all through high school. Okay, now that I just made a mess of everything, let me restack stuff and we'll go through the levels really quick. Okay, so don't feel like you have to get everything on this to start out with if you want to use this program. Just start where you are, start using what you have, and if you feel the need, like you'll just come across holes, especially look at their writing. And you'll see what they need. Oh, they need some grammar help. Oh, they need some spelling help. You know, like you'll see it. So just, I kind of start with just the core, like the reader, phonics, and some kind of notebook, either the companion notebooks or just the copywork notebooks, and you'll just see what they need, you know. I did want to show you something that might be really helpful. Oh, here's that phonics chart I showed you. I mentioned in there. I said it was in here. It's right there. You'll see that come up in the levels. It's the stages of reading by grade and reader. So this is something, so I read that teacher guide that by Ruth Beechick that comes with the Mop Media set. And yeah, I'm not a Charlotte Mason teacher. I'm just doing my own thing over here. But I did read it. I actually do think that my grammar approach is similar. It's pretty much, I guess maybe I am kind of doing a Charlotte Mason grammar just intuitively. But stages of reading, I read through that, and then I kind of I surveyed the interwebs, you know, and then my own opinions on the books and my experience with them, and I made this. So I used Ruth's stages of reading, and I matched those up with the readers, and then I kind of put more of my own opinion into the grade levels. So kindergarten, that's really more of the pre-reading stages, right? I wouldn't say the reading. So if we were going to back up just a touch, let's say like preschool age, right? I would be doing, we did like flashcards for the 26 letters of the alphabet. I just taught all the letters, sounds, you know, like Y has 4 sounds, you know, A has 3 sounds. We just taught them all in the order of prevalence in our language. So A spells ah, Y spells y, I, e, you know. So my 4-year-old could tell me all that. We played games and stuff, but I digress. I've got preschool videos on my channel. If you need those, I'll link one for you. But so I call it pre-reading stages. If you were going to be, you know, using the original McGuffey's, probably wouldn't start until maybe kindergarten. I actually love how to teach your child to read in 100 easy lessons. That's what I'm doing with my 5-year-old now. And I use my first copybooks. I'll link those for you too. I use those in conjunction with that reading program. But you may be starting, if you wanted to just use the McGuffey's at late kindergarten, you might be starting the primer if you've gone through some other reading program first, some phonics program. So that's what PE for primer. So first grade, right, they're now into decoding. They're definitely in the primer. That'll probably take them all of first grade. Then second grade, they're still in the decoding stage, and they'll be starting probably the first reader. And third grade, decoding and some fluency, right? I think they're still working on both. And they're in the second reader, they're going to start it. Fourth grade, they're on the fluency stage, second reader. Fifth grade, fluency, gathering information. So I think they might finish up the second reader and start the third sometime this year, you know, something like that. You know, kids are not all going to learn at the exact same rate, and different things are happening in every family that may delay or expedite certain things, like, you know, so these are not hard and fast rules. It's just life is just unfolds how it unfolds. Okay, sixth grade, they're going to be into the third reader. They're now into the gathering information stage. They'll be in the third reader all the way through 8th grade probably. And then 9th through 12th, they'll be in the 4th reader, which I don't have any resources. I don't have any experience in those grades yet. So I didn't do anything for those, but I did stuff for the other grades for you. So this might be helpful, just get you an idea of where your kid might be. how to place them and what kind of track you're on. So even though I have like 4 piles of things up there, that's like first, through 8th grade. Especially books 2 and 3 could take 2 to 3 years. It kind of depends on your schedule and stuff and your kid. Okay, so that's in there. Hopefully that's helpful. So how I laid out these plans is levels 1 through 6, and I start you out in the pictorial primer, and I just tell you what you can do every day, basically. So you're going to start out with 1 to 4 lines of matching copy work in one of those lined books. Oh, I did also provide in this is the 1/4 inch ruled paper and the 1/2 inch ruled. So if you needed the handwriting paper, you could print these out and make your own little notebook if you wanted, or your own little stack or something. I really just walk you through it. Remember just to eat the fish, spit out the bones, right? I just feel like it's very similar to my revised edition videos. So I won't go too into detail with these plans unless you have a specific question, leave it for me. But I don't want to be redundant if you've already watched those videos. You're upping the lines they're writing. So I could not make copy work for these books because they're copyrighted by Mott Media. You're not allowed to reproduce any of it, not like the revised editions are in the public domain. Even if you were to do like 1 line of, like, it would still be, you're only allowed to quote and print like a certain percentage of a book. So even if you just did 1 line from each lesson, it would be too much legally. So I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do any model handwriting copy work for these. So you will just have to, if you want them to have a model, you'll just have to write out what you want them to write, which is kind of time consuming. So you can either have them just do the copy work, or you can on their own, or you can write it out and then they, copy what you did or trace what you did. Or you could always just pick up my copy work for the revised editions, because you'll still have that beautiful model handwriting. It just won't be the exact same reading that they're doing, but it'll still be some beautiful Danielian model handwriting and lines for them to work from. And some people, like, Sherry over at Mom Delights, she mixes the two. She does the originals, I think, for the primer and the first reader and second reader, and then she switches over to the revised editions after that for the 3rd through the 6th of the revised editions. So anyways, I'm just going through so things like the sentence scaffolds or the copywork complement. So if you're doing copywork, you may want to do the copywork complement with it. Or you may want to do, like right now, William is doing copywork. He's doing 1 full page and which is probably 8 to 10 lines, honestly, with what he's doing. But the sentence, and he's doing a sentence scaffold. So I don't have him do both of these at the same time. And once we're done with the sentence scaffolds, we'll just go back to using the copywork complement. You don't want to just keep adding. I would only do 1 grammar component in addition to their normal writing. Spelling workbooks, yeah. And you're just working through those. Same with so level 4 when they're into the second reader. So I would first say do the companion notebook, and if you want to do like the stories and grammar, then just pause the notebook and do stories and grammar, okay? Don't try to do them both at the same time. One thing that I do think, which I didn't really put on this plan because I was just trying to do the core subjects, but you can pause your McGuffey reader. Like I say, personally, our kids they're doing the McGuffey's with me as like a formal language arts, and then we have the RC reading list, and we are going through that, and I have them so they have language arts time with me, but then they have their reading time, we call it independent reading, where they read for a set amount of time, and then they have actually a reading assignment with every book. And I did a video on that, so I will link that for you down below, because you're going to want them reading more. You want them building their background knowledge and doing more than just the McGuffey readers, right? Because these are instructional, but you want them to be reading other books too, right? So yeah, I'll link that video for you down below. And the second reader. So this is the year when they get into the second reader that I'd probably start them into if they want to do gentle grammar. Or they could be doing Harvey's elementary grammar here, maybe. Not the revised. The revised grammar that I showed you earlier, that would be too high for them. They might be like, whenever they get through the spelling program, the spelling workbooks, then they might start into the vocabulary packet. I have them do red hot root words. Why it says that, but that's just kind of optional. That's what we do for vocabulary because I want them to learn those root words because it's just so valuable to comprehension and spelling and everything. And then the third reader. At this point, they should be pretty independent. There's that phonics chart. There's that reading thing. Okay, so first reader. Oh, wait, I think I've got these turned around because I've been shuffling around, but I gave you blank scope and sequences for the primer and the first reader. And what you do, how you use these, this will be helpful to you, is just to, as you do lesson 1, right? You're going to, as you see, they're introducing a new piece of phonics to them, a new grapheme or something, then you're going to write that down in there. And you're going to also, during the lessons, point out any piece of, grammar that you want to focus on, like be it capitals, periods, whatever it is. So you have a record for yourself, and you can it's good to keep in your records, in case the state needs to see something, but it's helpful to look back and see what you've already done. And you just want to be really gentle with that. I've talked about this stuff before. I also gave you a grammar chart to fill in with them, and you'll see that come up on the instructions for your daily plans. But you're just going to write down what grammar component you worked on, an explanation of it, and an example. And this just is helpful for a review mostly with them. But you'll see that come up. Okay, I feel like I'm being a mess. This document, I don't know where. Oh, it's the grammar. The grammar complement comes with a list of grammar concepts that you may want to cover, like K through 3. Okay, let's take a look at our piles and let's see what we start with. So just to recap, let's go through what you would use with the pictorial primer, in my opinion, right? Get the primer, phonics made plain flashcards, ABC and all their tricks, a handwriting journal, room to draw, your McGuffey's spelling, probably going to start on level 1. And if you're wondering what kind of words are in here, start out real easy, right? Because reading skills usually outpace spelling skills. Spelling is harder. It starts off real easy. Okay. All right, and you've got maybe your spelling book, right? You only have to buy that once. Okay, the first reader. Okay, you've got your reader. You're still using your flashcards. You've got another, your handwriting, or you could just print out the pages I gave you. And I think I was doing a little example. Okay, so I was trying to do an example for you the other day. So I use, out of that highlighter set, I love the gray highlighter and using the fine tip side for writing out any model handwriting. The blue works pretty well too. And I tried to draw a pig because I said have them, if they want to, they can try to copy the picture from the book or they can add on to it or something. But I just showed how I use the two color method for checking, right? So everything positive in one color and anything to correct, or to draw attention to in another color. These were from the copywork complement, right? So we were underlining or highlighting anything that was a common noun in blue, punctuation that we had talked about. So yeah, you might end up with something like that in there. That's what I was trying to say. But also with the level, you'll want to do the sentence scaffolds, right? You're practicing them scaffolding into writing their own. At some point, you will get into the spelling level 2. So the spelling levels don't necessarily go with grade. They could if they got through a whole one in a whole year. So the levels 1 and 2 come with fill in the blank sentences for their words. And I really use the spelling. This is both spelling and vocabulary for us. Plus we're talking about we're talking about words in the readers as we go too, of course. Okay, the second reader, since this one takes like 2 to 3 years to get through this book, there's more stuff in here. So you've got your second reader, love it. Something that's neat about the second reader, so they start having questions in there, which I really liked. They do have the words pulled out. They have a lot. And if you wanted to use these words that are in here for your spelling words, you can. You can put them into, you can just use them in place of the word lists that are in my McGuffey spelling books. You just replace it with your own word list and just use all the same activities in there. You can use any word list with those books, really. All right, so then at some point you may want to do the weekly paragraphs to teach them how to write in paragraph form on their own, coming up with their own paragraph. This is surprisingly challenging, right? This is a really big writing step. Okay, so I mean, you could use this as a standalone, really, but I think it's helpful to have this as well, and it walks you through how to use them together. You also could do the stories and grammar. Again, this is practicing your grammar in your writing. It really is helpful for getting them to start coming up with their own writing. And then I just made this. I'm in love with it. The original McGuffey's Second Reader Companion Notebook. So if you want the simplest thing you can do, if you're just really wanting to simplify, like I just want one thing, just use this notebook. I think it's kind of nice sometimes to take a break from your McGuffey's, like maybe over the summer, and that's a good time. So maybe you're doing this all year, and you're just going through the stuff with the reader, and maybe over the summer you do something like this and read fairy tales, since that is the theme, the writing theme in here. Okay, and then McGuffey's Spelling Level 3. You may actually get through, because this book takes so long, you may go through 3 and 4. So I just put them both on there. And these are, they're not just the same with different word lists. The activities are similar, but they are progressing as well as the word list. Okay, on to level 6, the third reader again. These ones have these cool rules, like for reading. Rule 1, hold your book up well and do not bend forward. Speak each word distinctly and be careful to pronounce correctly. Endeavor to understand what you read. So it has like a little reading rule, which I love. It has spell and define, errors, questions. So I love this. Again, this is going to take this is like 3 years worth, right? So I think that's not if you're year round. I think that's 3 years worth just doing a normal school year. So here's the third reader companion notebook that goes with that. Right, it's going to walk them through. Let me just show you really quick. It's got a weekly schedule for you. And this is not exactly the same as the last notebook for the last book. It's a little bit more advanced. So we talk about we expand on the writing types. I think I gave them 3 options before. Now I'm giving them 5 writing genres. We're still talking about okay, what are the writing genres, you say? I heard you. I heard your thoughts. Hold on, let me look back. They are expository writing, descriptive writing, narrative writing, persuasive writing, and journal and letter writing. Right, and then I just walk through some information about those types of writing. As they're reading their passages, they're going to want to ask themselves, what kind of writing am I reading? And they're basically thinking about that, their reading passage as a model, right, for what they're going to write. All right, so then they're going to go through lesson, right? They're going to think, what's the genre of what I'm reading, main characters, plot summary or theme, your opinion on enjoyment, effectiveness, devices. Definitions, those are for those words that they give them. Exercises. Oh, I actually changed it in the version I changed it to questions, but I just didn't want to reprint my whole book. Sentences, they're going to be writing sentences with the words that they gave them, or they could always copy the sentences from the reading passage. You're going to be checking on this stuff. And then composition brainstorm. So then it's time for them to write their own piece. So I gave just like a big blank space because they may need to doodle or create their own graphic organizer. jot down their notes, their ideas, that kind of stuff that day. Then they're going to have their composition rough draft. You're going to edit and revise it with them, or you're going to give them your editing mark notes, which if you don't know how to do that, they are in the language arts bookmarks. Then they're going to do the final draft. They're going to rewrite it really nicely and submit it to you for grading. Here's the writing rubric that you are going to give it a grade on. Make any notes to them. And then this time, instead of in the last notebook I had you tell them what they were going to work on improving, what skill, which one of these to work on for the next composition. We want them to start becoming more independent writers. So writing reflection, this is for them after they look at what the evaluation said. They're going to reflect on their writing, on the evaluation, answer these questions to help get them making their own plan for how to improve their writing. Okay, so that's basically it, and then it just starts over. They just go on. The next week starts, and they have a new lesson, right? Every week is a fresh week. I feel like, oh, this feels so good on my eyes. Every week is fresh. Let's give it another go. Okay, so that's basically the plan. I tried to hurry, but I know this video still turned out way too long. If there's anything you want me to show you more in depth, if you look at the plan, if you want to use it and you're like, will you please go through level 1 or level 3 specifically, or any specific resources, just leave me a comment and I will do it. Okay, I'll talk to you guys.